Sheng. It is said that there was a family in Nanyang named Yi. The family was plagued by foxes, and their money and sundries were often stolen by foxes. If you offend them, the trouble becomes even more powerful. The man named Yi has a nephew named Ji, who is a Bohemian scholar. Sheng came to Yi's house and prayed to the fox to avoid disaster, but the fox didn't listen. He also prayed that the fox left his grandfather's house and went to his own home. But the fox still didn't listen, and everyone started laughing. Sheng said, "Since they can change, they must understand human feelings. If I guide them persistently, sooner or later they will be able to lead to positive results." So, he went to Yi's house to pray once in a few days. Although it was not very effective, once Sheng arrived at Yi's house, the fox stopped disturbing him. Therefore, the Yi family often asked Sheng to live in his home. Sheng lived in his grandfather's house and prayed to the sky at night, insisting on seeing the fox. One day, Sheng came home and was sitting alone in his study. Suddenly, he saw the door open slowly by itself. He quickly stood up and said respectfully, "Brother Fox is here." But there was silence. One night, the door opened by itself again, and Sheng said, "If it's Brother Fox who's here, and it's what I prayed for, why don't you ask me to meet him?" There was still silence. That night, there was $200 on Sheng's table, but it was gone at dawn. The next night, Sheng added several $100s and put them on the table. In the middle of the night, when he heard the curtain ringing, Sheng hurriedly said, "Brother Fox is here. I have prepared a few hundred copper coins for you to use. Although my family is not rich, I am not stingy. If you need it urgently, you might as well say it clearly. Why bother? Where's the theft?" After waiting for a while, he looked at the money and only took 200. Sheng kept the remaining money where it was. But for several nights, I didn't lose a penny again. Sheng had a cooked chicken that he planned to use as a treat, but it was suddenly lost. In the evening, Sheng prepared wine for the fox to drink. From then on, the fox stopped coming. The problem of foxes in Yi's family was still the same as before. Sheng went to pray again, and said to Hu, "I'm going to pay you, but you don't want it. I'm going to prepare wine, but you won't drink it. My grandfather is old and in poor health. How can I bear it? Can I afford you to harass me for a long time? I have specially prepared a small gift, which is not too rich, and you can take it by yourself at night. You can take whatever you want." So I gave him more than $10,000. A jar of wine and 2 chopped chickens were placed on the table. At night, Sheng lay aside and watched, but there was no movement all night, and there was not a lot of money or things at all. However, the fox has since disappeared. One day, Sheng came home at night. When he opened the door, he saw a jug of wine, a plate full of cooked eggs, and $400 on his table, strung with red thread, which were the things he had lost a few days ago. He knew in his heart that this was the fox coming to repay him. I walked forward and smelled the wine. The wine smelled very fragrant. I poured it out and looked at it. The wine was green in color. I took a sip and the taste was very mellow. By the time I finished the bottle of wine, I felt half drunk. At this time, the thought of greed for money suddenly arose in my heart, and I suddenly wanted to be a thief and steal something. So he opened the door and went out. There was a rich family in the village, and he jumped over the wall to become a thief. Although the wall of this family's home was high, Sheng seemed to have wings when he climbed up and down. He entered the rich man's house, stole mink clothes, a gold tripod and other items, took them back to his home, put them on the bedside, and then went to bed. At dawn, he took these things to the back room and showed them to his wife. His wife asked him, and Sheng told her hesitantly and looked very happy. His wife was horrified and said, "My husband has always been upright. Why did he become a thief?" Sheng was still shameless and told his wife about the human nature of foxes. His wife suddenly realized and said, You have drunk fox wine and have been poisoned. Remembering that cinnabar can dispel evil spirits, his wife ground up the cinnabar finely and added it to the wine and asked Sheng to drink it. After a while, Sheng suddenly shouted, "Why did I become a thief?" His wife hurriedly explained the reason for him, and Sheng regretted it. After the rich man was stolen, there were rumors everywhere in and outside the village. Sheng heard that he couldn't eat or sleep all day long and didn't know what to do. His wife thought of a way for him and asked him to throw the stolen things over the wall into the yard of the rich man's house at night. Sheng complied, and the rich man's family got the lost thing again, so the matter was dropped. Sheng took part in the annual examination and came first. He was elected as a student with excellent conduct and received double rewards. On the day of receiving the reward, a post was posted on the beam of the government office, which read, "G is a thief and steals fur and tripod from a certain family. What is the best thing to do on things?" The examiner was puzzled, so he asked Sheng about the post. Sheng was stunned and at a loss, thinking to himself, "Except for my wife, no one else knew about this. Besides, the official office was heavily guarded. Where could I come in and post this post?" He suddenly realized and said, "This must be done by a fox." Then he told the past events in detail, and without any concealment. The examiner rewarded him twice. Later, Sheng often thought, "I didn't offend the fox. The reason why it tried to frame me repeatedly was probably because the villain was unwilling to be a villain alone and wanted to drag others into trouble."
Alright, this story has come to an end. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you.